going on, everybody? It's Rod with Powell Group. Today is Tuesday, September 8th. I hope everybody had a great long weekend. And in today's video, we're going to discuss the market sell-off for the fourth day in a row, and tech obviously leading that sell-off. Before we jump into the content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this perspective on the market. So let me share my screen with you folks here. So before I jump into the charts, I did want to bring up this article. It's basically an investing.com article. You can check it out. But it basically reiterates exactly what I had said about a week and a half ago. If you go to my YouTube channel and just search, when will the bubble pop? I anticipated that Tesla and Apple would drag this market down, and I anticipated that their share split was going to have a lot to do with that. And I even made some examples of the .com bubble where Tesla's share split. And I said that I expected the market to trend up after the share split of Tesla and Apple, which it did. I was calling for 5, 10, 20% at the most. And we did get about 5, 10% and a nasty pullback. So again, you had a huge heads up there. And basically what I was watching for, right? We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we can start to look for clues and build a thesis and watch out for it. And when it starts to come to fruition, then that's when we act on it. So taking a look at SPY on the monthly chart, I wanted to highlight the fact that we're still retracing here within the Bollinger Band. So we were well outside. The monthly RSI was a perfect indicator that we were starting to top out here. We had lower highs and lower lows while the price was trending higher, which is usually a bearish sign and signs of exhaustion, and that the momentum is likely shifting. We want to see RSI trending up while the price is trending up, right? So they should be going together, not one going up and one going down, right? So taking a look at SPY on the weekly. So the weekly, we've yet to test the EMA support at the 12 period and the 26 period. So we could potentially find some support on SPY at those levels. So we're just looking for a weekly higher low on SPY, which we don't have any weekly higher lows from all the way down here at 296. So we have a long way to go. We could potentially fall 5, 6% to test EMA 26, see if we can find some support there. If not, long ways away, about 11% from the last weekly higher low. So what we want to see is a change in the daily trend. We want to see the daily uptrend confirmed to be confident that our weekly higher low is set. And you can see here we close near the low of the day. So EMA is looking to start to curl bearish as well. You can see here we had decreasing bear volume here over the last couple of days. Q2Q, I know we had increasing, but today we had a little bit of drop off in volume, but we also had an upper wick. And you can see here that we're headed to daily oversold conditions. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw tech bounce tomorrow. You can see here we've got a daily higher low at 264, and we could potentially find a bottom at the 264 level. Taking a look at SPY, I did want to mention that SPY has a low of a higher low on the daily at 332, so we could potentially find some support here and bounce into tomorrow. What I would expect is they would likely drop it, potentially a gap down open tomorrow, and then we run. And today, as you can see, we held that level. We had a low of 332.88, and 332.01 was the previous daily higher low before the 335 support. So we held that, and I actually held some positions short. I had a long SPY. It was a smaller position, and then I also hedged with some shorts on FNGD, which I'll show in just a moment. But I was confident exiting my shorts this morning because I knew we were close to that previous daily support level, and I also knew that on the daily chart that we were getting very extended. We were 4-hour oversold. We were approaching the daily support. What else was I looking at for that bounce this morning? Can't think of it right now. It's not coming to me, but it might come to me in a second. But I'll just bring up the history of my trades there today. So I had a SPY long to end the week last week. And then I purchased FNGD at 964. I sold that this morning at 1143. I bought SPXS at 554 and I sold that at 589. I bought SQQQ at 2338 and I sold at 2596, so basically 26. And then I made a couple of trades. I bought some Hexo. I started a position in Hexo. I started a position in Canopy Growth. I'm going to do a video later on today. I'm going to do a product review of the Hexo drinks. So tune in, subscribe to the channel, and tick the little bell. You'll be notified on that update. But taking a look at Tesla, I bought Tesla at 347. Once I covered my shorts in the morning, I flipped long. So I went long Tesla at 347, sold a few minutes later, about 25 minutes later at 361. I did have a bad trade with Apple. I entered Apple at 118. I ended up covering at 116. I got stopped out, and then that was the first bad trade I had in weeks. So I decided to pump the brakes. I'm basically all cash aside for those small Canopy and Hexo positions that I'm starting to scale into. I do think MJ is due for a bounce and could be the next potential bull cycle, major bull cycle that we see among investments, in my opinion. Other than that, that was pretty much it. I had a losing trade on Apple, so I cooled the brakes, holding cash overnight. After hours, you can see we're starting to bounce a little bit on SPY. QQQ, basically right where we closed. Taking a look at Apple, closed near the low of the day. Tesla closed near the low of the day, so super weak. Tesla had some news that it wasn't going to be added to the S&P 500, so that was likely priced in, and because that didn't come to fruition, a lot of people were starting to panic and sell because it was priced in that they were basically a shoe-in, and it never actually happened. So we started to see some downward pressure selling there. So basically tomorrow we're just going to be looking for hourly trend changes. We want to be confident that the hourly trend is bullish so that we know that our daily higher lows are set. And we're going to be looking at the potential bounce that gets underway on the daily. Tesla not looking that great. We don't have any daily support now until 273. We do have these previous all-time highs, so we did break those. Maybe we're going to test the 273 level. Certainly not ruling that out of the equation. And we'll just continue to see. We also saw Nikola had some news today, which was the GM partnership. So GM now owns an 11% stake. So that definitely had some downward selling pressure on Tesla as well. I'm pretty sure that's all I have for you guys today. There wasn't really much in terms of economic news today. We'll touch base with you guys tomorrow. If you do have any questions or comments, please just leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get to those this evening or tomorrow morning. But other than that, I wish everybody a great night and best of luck. And just make sure that you have a plan, that you are sticking to that plan, that you have a stop loss, that you're not getting complacent. This could potentially be a dip to buy. And in my opinion, we may test the recent highs, but I think that the most probable scenario is we're going to set a daily lower high, and then we would likely sell off into the end of the year. But again, this isn't financial advice. All investments have risk. Do your own research. This is for educational purposes only, and I hope you found this information valuable. And again, just like the video if you enjoyed the content, and consider subscribing if you like this perspective on the market. We'll check back with you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.